In this lecture, we'll be taking a look at looping through arrays, both with simple values and objects. We'll be looping through the data properties that I have already added to the Vue instance. One is an array of strings representing movie titles, and the other is an array of objects representing employees. In vue.js, we can use the v_for directive for looping, so let's get going. First, I'll output the movie titles in an unordered list, so I'll begin by adding a ul element with one nested li element. So I'll say ul and li in here, and I'll just add a title here of movies. So the v_for directive renders the element that it's attached to 0 or more times based on its source data. Because I want to render one li element for each movie title, I'll add the directive to the li element. So here I can write v-for equals, and now for the expression. The v_for directive takes a special syntax. The simplest form is alias in expression. The expression is what we have seen before and can be many things, but in most cases we refer to a data property consisting of an array. In this case, we want to loop through the array stored in the movie titles data property, so we enter movie titles. So first for the alias, I'll say title, and then the keyword in and movie titles. So movie titles is the name of the data property, and title is an alias for each iteration of the loop, so each movie title. The alias is the part before the in keyword and is the name with which we can refer to the current iteration's item. We can use this for string interpolation to output each movie title, so let's do that. So within here, I can use the alias that I just defined, which is title, and this will give me access to each value for each iteration of the loop. So what this means is that the li element will be repeated for each item in the array stored within the movie titles property. For each iteration, we can access the current item using the title alias, and we output that using string interpolation. If I run the code now, we should see a list of movie titles being output. One could also have nested elements within the element that contains the v_for directive, as this element and any child elements are repeated as many times as the result of the expression. We have just seen how we can loop through an array of scalar values, so let's see another example which loops through an array of objects, namely the employees array. We'll display the employees in a table, and because the markup is quite verbose and long, I'll just paste it in so you don't have to watch me type it. And there we go. This is just a simple table that has nothing special about it. Within this table, we want to repeat the tr element within tbody for each employee. So that's where we'll be adding the v_for directive. So I'll add an empty v_for directive right here. And since we'll be iterating through a collection of employees, we'll refer to each employee as employee. So this is the alias for the current iteration's item. Then we'll use the in keyword to separate the alias and the expression. And the last part is the expression, which will simply be the name of the employee's data property in this case. So I'll write employees there. So for each iteration of the loop, we can now access the properties on the employee alias as we would normally access properties on an object in JavaScript. So here I can use string interpolation, and I can write employee.name, which accesses the name property on the employee object. And I can do the same for the title property. So employee.title. Notice that the children of the tr element are repeated for each iteration of the loop as well, because it's the tr element that has the v_for directive. So any children of that element are repeated as well. Alright, time to take it for a spin. Now we see an HTML table displaying the employees from the employees data property. Excellent. Not only can we access the current item in the loop, within a v_for block, we have full access to the parent scope such as other data properties. To show this, I will add a new data property containing the name of an imaginary company. So I'll go down here, I'll say company name, I'll just call it vue.x limited. Notice that this property is in the root of the data object, and that despite of this, we'll still be able to access it from within our loop. I'll add a new header to the table and use normal string interpolation to output the company name. So first the new header, th company, and down here let's output it using string interpolation. And here I can just write company name. As you can see, there's nothing new here. It's just to show that you still have access to the parent scope within a v-for block. And as we can see, the company name is output correctly. As a side note, remember how we could use the HTML template element within the vif directive for rendering a group of multiple elements without affecting the markup? You can do the same by simply adding the v-for directive to a template element, exactly as we did in the lecture on the vif directive. With that, it's time to see how we can access the index of the current iteration of a loop.